Okay, so a multiple choice question for you. This is a great one. Based on phylogenetic studies, protists are bacteria with organelles, monophyletic eukaryotes, single-celled animals, paraphyletic eukaryotes, paraphyletic prokaryotes, right? So if you weren't attuned to video 1, you'd be like, oh, this is too much. These seem like all decent options, right? So think about some of the terms that we selected and what you can rule out, right? Protists are prokaryotes or eukaryotes? They are eukaryotes, right? They have those synapomorphies of a nuclei, of meiosis, right? Of organelles with membranes. Okay, most are unicellular, but they can be multicellular. And so you can already rule out anything that's not a eukaryote, right? So now you might be looking at single-celled animals, monophyletic, and paraphyletic here. Okay? Now, which one is it? Well, we know they can be multicellular, and we also know they're not animals, right? Now, you're left between monophyletic and paraphyletic. So what do you remember about our discussion about whether it was one or the other? So remember that protists are not animals, not plants, not fungi, but they're eukaryotes. So they're non-animal, non-fungi, non-plant eukaryotes. That's how you describe them. It's kind of crazy. So knowing that, they're paraphyletic, right? The absence of those three other kingdoms. Okay, so paraphyletic eukaryotes. All right, let's take a look at some of the cool features. Remember we talked about how they can be animal-like, so they can be protozoans, right? They can be, I'll just remind you here, right? They can be protozoans, they can be more like algae, phytoplankton, or they can be more fungus-like. And that's just, a lot of times that's kind of how they're moving and feeding, is why they're classified as such. Okay, so let's see if we can click these videos here. Here are the cool ways that they can move. And these are all unicellular protists at this point. Here's that amoeba that I talked about that's a protozoan and also is, essentially a zooplankton, right? And then some move with flagella, some move with cilia. Let's just take a look at what they look like here. You don't really need volume for this. Okay, so here is an amoeba, and essentially what it's doing here, this is one cell, but it's essentially like a shape-shifting organism. You can see the cytoplasm moving around and pushing out these extensions. What these are called are pseudopodia, fake foot. They're not actual feet, but they do kind of help to serve as feet. Okay, so let's watch that one more time. So we have these pseudopodia, these essentially cytoplasmic extensions, where the cytoplasm, just through pressure, the cytoplasm, remember, is kind of the fluid inside the cell, is pushed to extend to essentially allow movement across an aquatic or moist surface. All right, notice there, this is the nuclei, so one cell again, and this is how an amoeba moves, via pseudopodia. And you can also see all, a lot of the organelles and stuff in there, which is important. Okay, so they can move via pseudopodia, they can move via flagella. So let's take a look at this euglena, which, note its color. So do you think it photosynthesizes? Yes, it does. Look at all those chloroplasts packed in there. And then look at that flagella. It's right here. I know, but I'm kind of ruining it with the mouse. Okay, you can see the flagella whipping around. Flagella are these, these essentially complex protein, like braided and intertwined structures. They're different than cilia here. They're whip-like, and they're kind of thick and help to mostly, to propel these organisms forward. But they can also, create movements of food particles as well that are helpful. Now, this red thing here is an eye spot. It's kind of a sensory organelle, which is pretty cool in the euglena. But so unicellular, really cool unicellular photosynthetic autotroph protist. Okay, now let's check out this paramecium. It's going to move through cilia. You have to look really closely. These cilia beat. They're all like fluttering and beating together. Okay, so I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see, I mean, that's how it's going to move. Yeah, you can see them on the edges. Pretty cool stuff. If you're on your phone, it might be kind of hard to see. But check out all those cilia that are beating and kind of moving that paramecium around. These paramecium can be photosynthetic as well and are also unicellular. So these are ways that protists move through their environment. All right. Okay, so that kind of gives you a cool idea of, and remember, if they're mobile like this, most of them are, in unicellular, they're going to be kind of planktonic of some sort, either zooplankton or phytoplankton.